Starting a blogging business is easy. You sign up for hosting, you create your blog, and boom, you are in business. You have a business, right? There is no office space to rent, inventory to buy, or any huge monetary risk, right? So starting is that easy part, but actually building a profitable blogging business online is where a lot of people get lost because there's a lot of hats you need to wear at the beginning, and it can be really tough to know where to focus first. And it doesn't help that there are so many distractions online. So the question you really need to be asking yourself is, are you focusing on the right things? As an entrepreneur juggling many different responsibilities, you need to be extremely careful not to get distracted by the latest and greatest trends, right? AKA that shiny object syndrome, where you start focusing on one thing and then you jump to something else, constantly chasing different things and just not following through on anything. So I have gotten caught up in this many times. It's so easy to do. And if this sounds like you, don't worry, it's normal. But the first step is to recognize it and become aware of it in your daily life as you move forward. So in today's video, I want to make you aware of 6 things you do not need to succeed with a blogging business. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Maureen here from thecreativeimpact.com. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos I post on this channel each and every week about building a profitable online business. Okay, so today I'm asking you, are you focusing on the right things in your blogging business? Are the things that you are doing each day moving the needle forward in your business? Or are you just focusing on things that keep you busy and stuck? To answer this better, let's go over what you don't need to succeed with blogging so that by the end of this video, you know to stop focusing all your time, thoughts, and energy on these 6 things. The first thing that you don't need to succeed with blogging is expert status and or credentials. You don't have to be the #1 expert in your niche to help others, nor do you need certifications or special degrees to be qualified to teach others how to do something, with the exception of things like giving actual medical advice, right? So a lot of clients that I work with, they come in struggling with imposter syndrome, that voice saying, who am I to be teaching this? And if you feel this way, let me tell you that this type of thinking is absolutely normal. I definitely felt this way when I started my parenting blog. But the truth that I learned along the way is you really just need to be a few steps ahead of your ideal person, that specific person that you're trying to help. And let me say this again, because it's super important to understand if you do not feel qualified to teach what you know. You do not need to know everything about everything. You just need to be a few steps ahead of your ideal person. And this is why niching down is so important and why I stress it all the time. Because, for example, if you have a blog about photography for beginner photographers, okay, you don't need to know all the advanced techniques and strategies that the top of the top pro photographers use. You don't need to have gone to photography school or be a professional photographer. Now, yes, you do need to have some photography experience, right, of some type, even if it's just knowledge you've gained over the years from having a photography hobby. But you just need to be a few steps ahead of your ideal person, in this case, the absolute beginner. And that's why when someone comes to me and says something like, I want to start a photography blog, I tell them that that is way too broad. They absolutely need to niche down. And this is why you need to get specific on who you want to talk to and in what area of a niche you want to focus on, because you have to meet people where they are. Now, I have videos on picking your blog niche and narrowing down that I'll put in the description below. But the best way to really just beat that imposter syndrome is to start teaching someone a few steps behind you. And some advice is just start helping a few people for free and focus on getting them results, which will then build your credibility and confidence. It's because if you are waiting to take action until you feel qualified enough, you're never going to get started. Now, hit that like button if this makes sense to you guys. The second thing that you don't need to succeed in blogging is a polished website. You need a website to host your blog, and I only recommend setting it up on WordPress.org when you're building a blogging business. But it does not need to be a deluxe website with all the bells and whistles by any means. A lot of people get started building a blogging website and then want to compare theirs to people who have been in the blogging business way longer and have built up their business enough to be able to hire a web designer to redo their site. And so these people, they spend hours and weeks trying to make their site look perfect before sharing it with the world instead of creating content to build their audience and really start moving that needle forward. This is a mistake I definitely made in the past because I'm such a perfectionist. I did this with I tried to do this with my first blog, and I just kept tweaking it and tweaking and tweaking it, and I wasn't creating content, I wasn't moving anything forward, and that was a huge mistake. Done is better than perfect. Take that messy action. So if you're one of those people that needs to hear this, don't spend too much time tweaking it, get it out there. People are much more interested in the content you have that will help them than what your website looks like. The only things you really need on your website to start are, your homepage with a clear statement that conveys who you help and how you help them, so people know exactly what you do and how you can help them when they land on your page. Then you need, get your blog page up, and then create a freebie to start building your email list as soon as possible. I have a couple of videos I can put about building an email list in above and in the description below. The third thing that you don't need to succeed with blogging is tons of social media followers. A lot of people think that social media is where you want to build your business, and that the bigger your audience on these platforms are, the more success and the more money that you have. But in all honesty, followers and likes on social media are vanity metrics. Followers do not equal sales, and likes do not pay the bills, okay? There's definitely a place for social media in your business if you do it right, in that you should be using social media to add value, get your followers on your email list. And this is where followers turn into leads, which are people who are essentially raising their hand saying, yes, I am interested in what you are teaching. And then once they are on your email list, you can build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience and provide solutions to their problems via your digital products and things like that. So remember, followers do not equal sales, leads do. And you only need a handful of engaged leads to begin profiting from your blogging business. Going along with this, the fourth thing that you don't need to succeed in blogging is a ton of traffic. So yes, you need some traffic, but traffic takes time to build if you are doing organically, which I do recommend when you're first starting out and establishing yourself. There are several free traffic strategies that you can use to drive people to your site for free, including things like Pinterest, YouTube, search engine optimization. Paid ads are great once you are more established, but the point I want to make here is that you don't need a ton of traffic or page views to be successful. So I don't want you waiting until you have loads of traffic coming to your site to start thinking about monetizing your blog, because if you do, you're going to miss opportunities to help the people that you do have coming to your site right now in the beginning. So with my first blog, I began to monetize my blog and make money with it within the first 6 months. And with this blog that I started right before COVID hit, I made my first 1,000 in the second month with less than 20 visitors a day to my blog and only 15 subscribers. Yeah, it's 100% possible. If you want a video on how I made my first 1K with this blogging business within 2 months of starting it, hit the like button and let me know in the comments below, and I will work on creating a video like this for you. The fifth thing you don't need to succeed with blogging is a lot of money. Yes, you need some money. You can't expect to start a business for free without any startup costs and make an income from it. It's just not how things work. Every business has startup costs, but the good news is that a blogging business requires very little investment up front. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, a blogging business is extremely easy to start. There is no office space to rent, inventory to buy, or any huge monetary risk involved. The only two things you absolutely need to purchase at the beginning of your blogging journey is a domain name and hosting. Yes, there are free hosting platforms, but as someone who has been blogging for 7 years now, has tried them all, trust me when I tell you that you want a self-hosted site. I highly recommend using WordPress.org with Bluehost hosting, which gives you a free domain for your first year. I've created various videos on blogging platforms, free and paid, that you can check out. I'll put in the description below, as well as a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up your hosting and a blog on WordPress that I'll put above. So don't let not having a ton of money be like an excuse going through your head. You do not need a ton of money to start. It's under $100 to start a business. I mean, you can't do that. You can't start a business for that anywhere else. And the last thing you don't need to succeed with blogging is to have everything figured out and make it perfect before you start your actual blog. Perfection is paralyzing and it will keep you stuck from moving forward. So if you have big dreams for your life, but you are struggling to move forward with them and take that action, the necessary steps to make them a reality, then you might be struggling with in this area, right? Perfect doesn't exist. You will never have it all figured out. 7 years into blogging and I'm still learning, failing, tweaking as I go. There's always something that you can do better. So if you are waiting until you have everything figured out or your big idea is perfect before you take action, you'll never ever get started. The focus needs to be on progress over perfection. So hit that like button if this is making sense to you. Okay, so there you go. Now that you are clear on the 6 things that you don't need to succeed with blogging, it's time to ask yourself, are you focusing on the right things to move your business forward? If you want help laying the right foundation for a profitable blogging business, get on the waitlist for my free blogging business blast off 5-day challenge taking place next month, where we'll be covering what you should be focusing on to explode your growth and profits. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.